Hi there, it's good to see you again. I'm Soon Seng. Just in case you do not know me, I'm a real estate consultant with more than 10 years of experience, and I'm also a Singapore backstreet boy because I'm born in a poor family. Now, today I'm going to share with you the three trends that's going to affect you, whether you are a buyer, a seller, or you're going to rent a property starting from 2022 onward. But before I start my sharing, I'd like to share with you why my clients come to me. My clients come to me because I'm a non-pushy agent. For example, if you are a buyer, the approach is usually I'll lay out all your options. Now, if you're buying private, it could be a new launch, it can be a resale, HDBs, landed, other things. And for each options, I will lay out what are the pros and cons, and I'll let the client decide for themselves. So that's what clients like about me, that I'm not a pushy agent. Of course, the other thing they like about me is the knowledge that I have. Now, before I start my sharing, I like to make a disclaimer that whatever things that I share is really educational basis. So today the topic is the three trends that's going to affect you. Now, the first trend will be, of course, the population white paper, followed by EV charging point, followed by prop tech, big data science, and tokenization. Let's start with population white paper. Now, the projected population for Singapore when we reach 2030 will be 6.9 million. But I think a few months ago, I think was shared by one minister, probably we'll be hitting 6.9 million. Probably we're reaching 6.5 million. Now, I've been speaking to many people, be it customer, my friends. 50% of the people, they resist the idea that we're going to have more and more people because they feel that it's very claustrophobic. With so many people, everywhere you go, you bump to the people. But another 50% of the people, they embrace it. Now, personally for me, I embrace the idea that we should have more people. In fact, if you ask me, I think 6.9 million is not enough. We should have 8 millions. Why? Because the only assets that Singapore have is human. Now, coming from the property point of view, now we all know that Singaporeans love to buy property. Now, if you buy property, if you have nobody to rent from you, if you have nobody to sell it to, isn't that bad? But imagine that you have influx of professional coming in. Now, these professional coming in, usually they are foreigner. For a start, they won't be buying private because the ABSD is so high, it's 30%. So most likely they'll be renting. So they can rent a property from you and you have passive income. And sooner or later you can sell it with tenancy to investor, and investor love use. So, but in case you're not renting, you're thinking, how does it affect me as a seller? But sooner or later, this foreigner who came in after they work in Singapore for a number of years, they like our environment, then probably they'll be applying for PR. Then it will be a different ball game. Their ABSD will drop from 30% to all the way to 5%. So if we have more people, we will have more people renting. We will have more people buying, and we have also more people selling. There will be a domino effect. So from my personal point of view, it's good that we have more population. So let's look towards 6.9 million by 2030, and hopefully we can have more by 8 millions. And in case you want to upgrade or purchase a property in a stress-free environment without the additional risk, go to www.sbbcode.com. Now, the second trends that I like to share with you is EV charging point, electric vehicle. Now, I think by now all of you should agree that the government is moving towards zero carbon emission, and electric vehicle is one of the transport that we'll be looking. In my opinion, sooner or later, I think there won't be any petrol-driven car on the road. All of us will be driving an EV vehicle. So how does that matters to you? Now, if you are a buyer, probably now when you go and buy a property, one of the questions you should be asking, how many EV points are there in the development itself? And how many EV cars are there in the development? Now, you wouldn't want to move into a development that there is no EV point. Okay, I think at this moment of time, many developments still doesn't have EV point. But sooner or later, this will be one of the questions they'll be asking. How many EV points do you have? And how many EV vehicles are there? Okay, so as a buyer, I think this is something that you should take note. So in case you want to find out more, go to www.sbbcode.com. Now, the last thing that I want to share with you is prop tech, big data science, and tokenization. Not only this will affect you, this will also affect me. Because sooner or later, if I don't change myself, I'll be out. I mean, I'm no longer relevant. So let's talk about prop tech. Prop tech is technology affecting property. I'll give you a simple example. VR goggles. The moment you wear it, you can feel that you are really in the property itself. Then you'll be touching, you'll be looking at the property itself. So this will happen. Then how about big data science? Big data science, in short, we'll be looking at property like using numbers. Like for example, amenities like distance to hawker center, MRT stations, nearby school. There'll be a number assigned to the property. The higher the number, the better it is. So what is the purpose of big data science? Is to look at property in a very rational manner and you remove all emotional trigger. And last one, tokenization. Now, exactly what is tokenization? To give you a very simple explanation, imagine you have this property that's worth 10 million and you chop it up into 10 parts. Then after that, you sold off 4 in a digital manner. The 4 that you sold off will come off with a smart contract that is generated by AI, and you'll be in a blockchain. So that smart contract will underwrite what are the benefits of buying the token, and if I'm a seller, if I have to buy back the token, of course I will pay off interest. So that will interest people to buy my token. Now, it is something quite similar to NFT. So in short, how does prop tech, big data science, and tokenization affects you as a buyer? The ultimately you have to buy right, because if you buy right now, chances are 5 to 10 years from now, where all these things take into place, you'll be a better chance to sell the property. Because I know many of us here at this moment of time, it is very difficult to convince you to buy property at the touch of a button. But this may not be the same. For the Z generation, or those people who are born after year $2,000, they are so tech savvy, they won't mind buying a property off an app, because by then things will be different. There'll be VR, there's so real, and probably the buying process will come with some kind of insurance that will cover defects to a certain amount. So before I end today's sharing, the 3 things that I share with you, first and foremost, is the population white paper that we are going for 6.9 million. So embrace the changes, embrace the more people that are coming, because with more people coming, that's good news for property owners. And the second things that I share with you is EV charging point. Start to think, when you go and view a development, start to ask how many EV charging points are there within the development itself. Now, if you are buying a landed, would it be good that the landed you bought already have an EV charging point so that you don't have to spend the additional amount to install it? And lastly, the things that I shared is prop tech, big data science, and tokenization. So once you are aware of this trend, okay, you will be a better buyer, because changes are coming. So if you like my sharing, give it a tick, give it a like, leave it a comments, forward to your friends, leave a question, and I'll try to answer it. Lastly, stay safe, have a good day, and speak to you tomorrow.